When one thinks of Joan Rivers, the words tough, intelligent, thoughtful, successful, kind, funny come to mind. As most people know, Joan has had her share of problems and personal tragedy, but she has proven time and time again that she is truly a survivor. Currently, Joan is riding very high with her extremely successful talk show and her new book entitled Still Talking. She joins us via satellite from Los Angeles. Please welcome, it's amazing, we're both holding the same book. It's like psychic. But I'll tell you
How are you?
I'm well, but I'll tell you what else. Hold the book in your right hand.
Oh, all right.
Now, both of our fingers, our index fingers, have Band-Aids over them. Did you break your nail?
I just took my Band-Aid off. I broke my nail.
I still have mine on. I broke my nail. See? Isn't this oh, see, isn't this amazing?
This is going to be a good interview because we're already soul sisters.
Have you lost weight?
No, I wish. No. My weight has just gone down to my hips, that's all. I mean, my thighs now are like two big ham hocks.
I want to ask you a question. You said about show business in this wonderful book, which I have to say I did enjoy and I loved reading. You talked about show business as the tar baby. Once you get stuck, you can't get unstuck. Are you still stuck to this tar baby?
As long as I can remember, it's all I wanted. I love it's an evil business. It's a rough business. But I'm still absolutely a part of it, absolutely stuck on it.
But part of the reason you love this business and wanted to be in it so much because of your insecurity, your need to be adored, appreciated, the applause. After all these years, do you still need that stuff?
Oh, sure. I think how nice to walk into a room and have people say, I like you. Or, oh, it's wonderful. It gives you so much outside. You know, after my husband's suicide, as I talk about in the book, I went back to New York, and it was so healing. I mean, you're walking down the street, and a guy comes out of a store and says, keep going. I said a prayer for you. It's wonderful to have outside people like you. It's terrific business.
You are still very well loved, but when you had your best friends in the show and they finally said what it was about you that bothered them, somebody said, your insecurity drives me nuts. You haven't got over... Yeah.
But we're all insecure. Go through your audience now. Is there one person there you're going to say to them, you're not insecure? Everyone feels, do I look good? Do I look too fat? Do I look too thin? Do I look too old?
Right,
but also, damn it, that's why I get into a bathing suit, by the way, because I suddenly realize everybody's so nervous about what they look like, nobody's looking at my stomach. You know?
I remember that. The next time I see you in a bathing suit, I'll go, really nice stomach you have there.
I'll say thank you.
Your book is a kind of book, if I had a friend who was in trouble because it is about surviving, I would recommend to anyone who's having a hard time in life to read this. But I believe that that's part of the reason people love you so much is because you survived it all, and you're back, and you won, and you made it, and you're champion, and you beat them all, and you're on top again.
Wait, I don't know if I'm certainly back. And I think that's what the book really is, even though it tells the gossip about Hollywood and the gossip about the Carson show and all that stuff. But a lot of the book is about to say to people, whatever you're going through, it's okay. We'll get through it. You'll get through it. And it's a very important message to send out.
It's a very difficult thing to live your life in public. I mean, you know, and you've told all, or should I say, have you told all? Do you have any skeletons left?
Oh, I'm sure there's certain things you just don't tell. I try to tell all. I think if you're going to write a book and tell them, you've got to be candid, and don't write garbage and don't write lies. So I've told, even to the point where I talk about leaving my husband right before he killed himself and the guilt that happened because of that. I think I've told pretty much all.
Do you think you're ever going to totally be able to forgive yourself for Edgar's suicide? Have you totally forgiven yourself, or does that ever happen in a case of suicide?
I work so hard now for suicide survival, and I don't think, I know I should say to you, oh, yes, 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 of course one says it's not my fault. But there's always a pocket in your life. You're always going to say, one more phone call, maybe it would have made the difference. I know intellectually it's not so, but emotionally you still wonder. If. But you can't, it's done, and you've got to say, I must move on, and I must move on for my daughter's sake to give her a role model.
Your daughter said the other day on the show, apparently, that she doesn't want you to remarry?
No, it's very interesting. We had a wonderful show on We had Paulina, you know, and
Right.
a girl from 90210, and they all had single mothers. And each one said, I want my mother to get married. I want my mother to get married. And Melissa said, I want my mother's career to continue. I think she's very happy. Well, you know, she's had so many upheavals. I mean, her dad's heart attack, and then his nervous breakdown, and then his suicide, and then we lost all the money, and there was no career. She's just now coming out of it. And she wants some form of stability in her life, and the form of stability now is, this is where we're at. And I want to just let it be that way for a while for her.
We're just going to take a break for a second. When we come back, we're going to talk with Joan Rivers. And I'd like to ask Joan Rivers this question when I come back. If she was to interview Wilt Chamberlain, what would your first question be to Wilt Chamberlain, Joan Rivers? You'll hear that answer, all 20,000 of them, I suspect, right after this. Very beautiful Joan Rivers, her second book, Still Talking, which is a really good read. Yeah, here it is, here it is. We all have this book. Broken Fingernails in the book. You mentioned, you know, you talk about this book, what makes you crazy sometimes is people who pretend to be what they aren't. And they come on, they say, oh, I'm this and that, and you know that this guy would do it to anything that stays still for a second.
Yeah. Oh.
Wilt Chamberlain just came out with his book, I don't know if you know this, and said that in his life he'd had 20,000 women. So I want to know, Joan Rivers, he's on your show, okay? It's Wilt Chamberlain. And what do you say to him?
What do you eat? Is there an oyster left in the ocean?
One of the wonderful things that came through here is your sense of humor that, and I was just amazed at it, even when you went, after Edgar had taken his life, and you went to be with him in the funeral parlor, even then you made a joke when you were talking to him. What was it? You said, Edgar, you got to know I stopped two of your cousins from coming. And
yeah, I've covered all my life with, thank God, God gave me humor, because even though a lot of people get upset by it, it truly has gotten me through everything, everything. And I went that night alone to the mortuary, and there he was in the casket. And he had, here I go, he had shaved off his beard because I'd hated the beard so long. And he had done that before he killed himself. And there he was, looking like he had looked when I knew him, when I loved him, and things had been good. And I just didn't know what to say. I was beyond, you know. And I just talked to him as if he was alive, you know, because he was my husband for 22 years. And I said to him, well, you'll be happy to know I've banned two of your cousins from the funeral. It's so stupid. You know?
Where did your humor come from? Is there somebody in your family or somewhere that had this wonderful sense of humor?
Oh, I think humor is absolutely hereditary. I think my dad was a wonderful doctor and full of fun.
Right.
And always came home with great stories about the patients.
Right.
And that started that, you know. And he'd be operating on somebody, he'd say to them, do you think I should finish medical school?
Oh, that's wonderful.
And he was a terrific doctor. His patients to this day come up and say to me, your dad, you know, took care of me, and your dad brought my baby into the world. He was so beloved, because humor gets us through everything, you know that. I mean, that gets us through really the worst times of our lives. So we can look around and say, ha, ha, ha.
The night that you went back, and I know you had this problem. I know you needed to work after you lost Edgar. You needed to get out there and perform, and yet there was a time where the public said, oh, you can't do that, that's disgusting. And yet that first night when you walked out and you made that first joke, that what was it, his ashes are in Neiman Marcus, and he knows I'll go visit him 5 every day of the week.
He requested that I spread the ashes at Neiman Marcus, because he knew that way I would visit him every day. Yes.
Were you terrified when you went out to, were you really so frightened to do, because you're really walking a line here.
Well, you know, after Carson, which I left so honorably, and I talk about all this in the book, and then NBC came down on me and said how rotten I was, which is so unfair of them, and such lies. And then the Fox fiasco, and then Edgar's suicide. You know, people don't want to go out and watch somebody on a stage that has more troubles than they have. They want me to make you forget your troubles. That's the job of the comic. And I was so scared that they wouldn't laugh. I was terrified that truly my work, which was my salvation, was going to be taken away from me. And thank God they laughed. Thank God.
If I told you that I had a psychic here who was going to come out, would you scream and run away? Because some weird things have happened to you because of this. People have seen Edgar's ghost, psychics calling you with messages. I mean, have you just said no more psychics, keep them away, or do you still listen?
I talked about that in the book, you know.
Yeah.
After he committed suicide, I mean, a psychic from Australia called me up and said, fly me in, I have messages from Edgar. And I thought this was very interesting. All these psychics were getting messages from Edgar and asking me to fly them in, because my cousin Sheila's husband had died and nobody was hearing from Herbie. And I found that was amazing. I don't know. I think maybe these people believe it, but I don't believe. 2 people in my house thought they had seen his ghost, and I had the house exorcised. I wanted to put his spirit to sleep and to rest.
Right.
And whether it was true or not, I just had a priest come in and a rabbi, because I think the Catholic Church has a lock on all that. Right. And I had, oh, absolutely, I come out of a Catholic neighborhood. And I had my apartment blessed, and I had his room blessed, and put it to rest.
I want to thank you for the book. It's not only a wonderful read, but it's wonderful of you to share your life with us in such an honest manner. And as one of your many, many fans, I want to just say thank you and tell you I do think you're absolutely wonderful. Joan Rivers, and when you come to Toronto and you're going to appear at the O'Keefe Center, okay?
Yes,
There'll be, on November the 23rd, there'll be a lady in the front row with a bandage on her finger waving, it's me.
Oh, I'll put mine back on if you go like that.
Okay. Thank you, Joan Rivers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.